Okay, here we are at Malahog Ridge Nature Trail. Recently opened here in Calbayog City. It's a trail that traverses the entire length of Malahog Ridge, from almost from the highway out to Malahog Ridge Point, which is where the new zip line is located. The zip line actually takes you from the top of the ridge across the water to an islet, which you'll see later on in the video. The trail is very interesting. It's very well done. They carved a nice trail along this ridge without disturbing much of the natural beauty or scenic beauty, or the trees or vines or any of the fauna and flora that's found here. I will say though that the trail, if I were to rate it, I would rate it at medium to difficult in some spots. The reason being is there are, along the 1,850 meter trail, there are 837 steps which go up and they go down and up and down, and there's a lot of inclines which go up and down. In some areas you've got to go up to get down, and you got to go down to get back up. All in all, the trail is it's well marked. It's all concrete. A lot of safety railings. But notice there are all these rocks. The rocks have a tendency to have some sharp edges on them, and in some areas where you have to hold on to rocks to navigate through some of the tight passages, like the one down you see below Terry there, you might want to wear gloves or have a pair of gloves with you. You have to be nimble for this trip, because you'll be stepping over some rocks and vines and tree stumps that grow right out of the center of the pathway, which were never removed. And Terry's got her eye on something here. What's she gonna do?
Okay, 1,
Pull-ups.
2, 3.
One's enough.
Ahead.
Anyway, if you look at some of these tree roots and these vines, they just wrap around everything. Some of the biggest vines I have ever seen wrap around some of these trees, and they just take off in all kinds of different directions. If you've got bad knees or bad hips or bad ankles, this is not the trek for you, unless you think you can do 837 steps. But that's half the problem, because once you do your 837 steps to the top of Malahog Ridge Point, you've got to turn around and do another 837 to get out. Now there is a back way down. I think we passed that almost at the top. It's a little bit more of a steep descent than it is coming in. So I'm not sure. Maybe next time we'll try that. But it's a steeper climb up and a steeper descent going down. A lot of these caves and rock outcroppings, there's a lot of crevices, a lot of little nooks and crannies that would be great for exploring. I don't know if you're allowed to get off the main path, but it's just a very neat, and the colors are just absolutely beautiful. There's a lot of birds, a lot of wildlife. I'm sure there's spiders and snakes, although we didn't see any. But if you got off the main path, I'm sure if you got back down into some of these nooks and crannies, you might find a critter or two. Here's one of them vines I told you about, just snaked down from the tree and up over another rock and down the hill, and they just decided to concrete around it. Terry's testing to see how strong those rocks are, I guess. If you don't have strong legs, you're going to be sore for a day or two. Here's one of them downward climbs in order to get up, and then here's one of them tight passages I talked about. I think Terry's telling me that the vine she just encountered was not a snake. Like I said, there's vines hanging everywhere. Some are average size and some are humongous. Here's rocks that they just decided not to break out of the way. They just paved around them, which adds to the natural beauty of the park, I guess. Here's a crevasse that you could take a nap in this place, big enough, and there might be a cave back in there. Here's one of the picnic areas. I think there's a total of 4 or 5 little shelters like this in case it's raining. You get some shelter. And obviously Terry has more energy than I do because she gets out there far out in front. This is a view looking east towards Calbayog City. Here's another steep descent. Got to go down to get up, like I said, in some cases. And here's a couple of those vines you got to climb over. They could easily took some of these out of the way, like that one there. That just makes it hard to get around. And here's a tree, dead tree, right paved around, right in the middle of the walkway. Here's another shelter. I would bring plenty of water, bring some snacks. Please don't litter. I think they're planning on putting some trash receptacles for the trash or the basura. Right now it's absolutely beautiful, and the views are nice. This is looking at Malahog Beach from a little over halfway up and beyond. Most of the railings are done, like I said. There are some areas like right here where there's no railing. I'm sure they'll build them because there are some facets of this trail that are still under construction. We must go down in order to get up. It's a pretty steep descent in here. And you can see how high up we are. Tight squeezes in some areas. And, ooh, is that blood on the rock? No, maybe not. And another shelter. This one's right in the middle of the path. I guess they couldn't find another place for it. Terry calls this the octopus ivy, octopus vine, because it just grabs onto just about everything. And I find it interesting because it just kind of hooks and connects to itself. But it does kind of look like an octopus. You stand back and look at it. And the steps in some areas can get rather steep and tall. And the rocks are not forgiving. These rocks at this elevation, the higher we got, they seem to take on a pink, rather a different color, almost pinkish. I guess you'd call it pink, a pink hue. But most of the rocks up here had this hue, and then a little ways later, the hue disappeared, or the color disappeared. They went back to normal. Here it looks like they painted some of the steps camouflage style. I don't know why. It's not really natural. And as we got close to the top, this is where a lot of the construction was still taking place. The zip line platform is still not completed, so they got pipe and lumber and bags of gravel and concrete and everything else sitting around here. This is the viewing platform, and this here is the actual zip line platform, which should be open April 23rd. I know next time I make this trip, I'm going down the easy way. Hope you enjoyed the trek with us, and come on out to Malahog Ridge Nature Trail and enjoy the day. Thanks for watching.